So one of my favorite things to do is to scroll through the list of ROM hacks that have been made, especially for Game Boy games, because whatever, I like the Game Boy, and to see what people have come up with. So ROM hacks are, people, very clever people, take the original games, old games, and they modify them in a way that changes the game. Some of them are simple changes, like maybe fixing a small bug, or some of them are more medium-sized changes, like translating a game from one language into another language. Some of them are massive changes and completely change the game altogether. So all different types of ROM hacks. And there are a ton of ROM hacks for retro video games. But in my experience, there's really not that many for Game Boy. And so whatever, I scrolled through most of them. And one of them that always stood out was the ROM hack for Worms for Game Boy. So this is a game I didn't even really know existed until I saw this. So Worms was, it's a port of the classic, I think it's Amiga computer. We'll call it a classic computer game from 1995, ported to the black and white Game Boy. And I don't know, like it was ported to a ton of different systems. But when I think, what console really needs a port of Worms? I would not have expected the original black and white Game Boy to get a port of it. So first of all, it's a game I wasn't expecting to exist. I don't know how many people bought it. On top of that, it's a game, it wasn't even released in the United States or Japan. It was only released in Europe. So, one section of the world got this game for a console that in 1995 was starting to show its age pretty bad. I mean, it was showing its age when it first came out in 1989. But yeah, by 6 years later in 1995, it had been out for some time. For reference, 1995 was a year after the PlayStation 1 was released, and less than a year before the Nintendo 64 came out. So console gaming had well moved on to 3D graphics by this point. But anyway, there it was, this ROM hack of Worms for Game Boy. And it wasn't just like, fix some text somewhere or change some graphics a little bit. No, this was like, it was bug fixes and implementation of a whole new feature. This developer implemented wind into the game. The original game had a wind feature, the weapons. So this is a game where you play as two different teams of worms trying to blow each other up using grenade launchers and whatever. It's really funny. And the original version had wind. The Game Boy version did not have wind. So that was hacked into the game. And a bunch of other bug fixes, fixed the random number generator. And this was all back in 2016. So when I saw this, I thought to myself, this person's really passionate about Worms for Game Boy. That's kind of crazy and kind of awesome. Well, it turns out that developer is back for more, because a new ROM hack of Worms has now been released, Worms Forever, with new features. What is it? So it has all the features of the original Worms ROM hack, called Worms Plus from 2016. The new one, now in 2025, introduces the main new feature is randomly generated stages. So the original computer games had randomly generated stages, which means, I don't know the specific number, but it was a lot. You're never going to see them all. For the Game Boy port in 1995, the developers did something I think was very understandable. At the time was they didn't implement random stages, but they made like 24-ish stages, and then the game would randomly choose one of those stages when you started a new game, which got the job done. It was a clever solution to a potentially tricky problem. Well, now with this ROM hack, the stages are now for realsy randomly generated, which means now instead of 24 stages to select from, there are approximately 4.2 billion stages to play in, all with the seeds, the numerical not numerical, number and letter seeds, that will show you how the stage was generated. So you can write those numbers down and replay stages if you find one you really like, or share them with friends. Yeah, and that's the main new feature. There's just some more bug fixes, the ability to turn the wind on or off. Some speed up in gameplay and getting started in the game. And yeah, so this is now the ultimate version of Worms for the classic Game Boy. As for the game itself, so in order to make these videos and record this commentary, I ended up playing a lot of Worms for Game Boy, both the original version from 1995 and the new ROM hack. And when I started this, honestly, I was not looking forward to it. I liked the game, back in the 90s. I enjoyed it. It was clever, it was cute, it was funny. I was not looking forward to playing the version for the Game Boy. And frankly, or honestly, I really got into it. This game's kind of fun. I got kind of hooked on it. Like I started recording the video and I was like, I'll just play one game real quick. Nope, that turned into like 2, 3, 4. Oh man. And check it out. I realized this is one of the few Game Boy games that allows for multiplayer, single console, single Game Boy, single cartridge multiplayer. So one player will do their move, and then when you're done, you hand it to the next person, and then they take their turn, and then so on. I think you can do at least 4 players. I can't remember how many teams can play at a time, but at least 4, was it 4? I think it's 4. Anyway, I got to try that out sometime. I'd love to make a video soon about all of the best single cartridge, single Game Boy multiplayer Game Boy games. I think that'd be fun. But anyway, yeah, this is Worms for Game Boy. I always wanted to do, ever since I saw that first ROM hack, what's it called, Worms Plus. I've been wanting to talk about it because, once again, it's such a random game from a single part of the world that had this really impressive ROM hack, and now there's an update to it that is even more impressive. I always wanted to talk about it, but didn't know how to get into it. And so, yeah, here it is. The original version for Game Boy, pretty darn fun. The updated version is the ultimate version of Worms for the original grayscale Game Boy. For all your portable Worms combat needs.